Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. It's Prep Sports Plus, powered by the Southeast Iowa Union. And it's basically Christmas Day. This comes out like Christmas Eve, right?
Well, I guess
It's
it'd be
it's
if it's our usual Thursday, then it'd be on Christmas Day.
this is a Christmas Day show.
It's a Christmas
It's
Day
classic.
show.
And that brings us to our title sponsor, the place that keeps this thing going. We're powered by Stranger Things by Netflix, our new title sponsor. Oh, psych! We would never, ever let them be our title sponsor if they offered us 10 times as much what Fairway Food Stores does. It's Fairway Food Stores. They're powering us like always.
Shout out
Uh,
Fairway, the cornucopia of corn,
Shout out Fairway, the cornucopia of Christmas.
cornucopia of
Uh,
Christmas,
Go get
the
your
bungalow of beef.
bungalow of beef. You know what? You get some warm food from Fairway. You're out during all Christmas. You probably turn on Netflix for the Stranger Things, whatever volume it is on Christmas night. Um, you just there's so many ways that Fairway can make your holiday more holiday-y.
Do your holiday the Fairway.
Do it the fair way, not the foul way, not the cheating way. Um, we're gonna talk a little basketball, and my friend Jack Knowlton was at rivalry night in Washington, Iowa. The Washington Demons and Mount Pleasant Panthers met on the basketball court. Jack, let us know what happened.
Yes, they met on the basketball court, and Mount Pleasant was met with a sweep by the Demons. The Washington girls team beat Mount Pleasant 44 to 22. Pretty low scoring affair, especially by Washington's standards from some of the games that they've done this season. And then the boys team won 55 to 47. A bit of a closer game in game number two, but yeah, game number one was interesting. Very defensive. You could kind of tell that from the get-go. Washington, when I talked to Colin Mulford after the game, that was kind of the first thing he said he was the most impressed with was their half-court defense. They pretty much suffocated Mount Pleasant. It was like very slow going for them on offense, a lot of long possessions, a lot of possessions that ended in one shot, and that was it. Didn't get very many second chance opportunities. Washington's been pretty good on the glass all season. So that was basically the report. And then the interesting thing was, kind of midway through this game, Washington mixed in a press. They were kind of just focused on half court defense early, kind of threw in a press. Mixed results. Mulford kind of liked it at the beginning, didn't like it as much in the middle part of the game, and then liked it at the end. Washington really pulled away again in the fourth quarter. They outscored Mount Pleasant 26-16 in the second half. They held them to, I believe, 4 points in the second quarter. So, it was not, or sorry, 2 points in the first quarter. Excuse me. It was 12 to 2 after one quarter of play, and the game was pretty much over from there. Offensively, standing out, was a quieter night for Adeline Long by her standards. She had scored 40 points in Washington's previous two games combined coming into this game, only had nine, but it was Leighton Messenger, 14 points. She made two threes. She came on the broadcast as well during the boys game and kind of talked with her. She said she's been settling in a lot better since, missing the last two seasons since, not playing before her freshman year. And, it was good to see some shots go in for her. So, yeah, they, kind of didn't have too many problems and played really well on defense to win in that one. And the boys much closer is 55-47. And there was, really the standout moment in this game. Washington was down 11. They were down 34 to 23 with 5:50 left in the third quarter. They go on a 19-0 run after that and completely flipped the game. They took an 8-point lead. They got it as high as 12. Mount Pleasant had an interesting sequence at the end. Aiden Humble for them went to the free throw line on back-to-back possessions, getting fouled on a three. I don't think I've ever seen that before. He made all three. He made all six free throws. They got it to a 5-point game, but Drew Conrad also hit a bunch of free throws late for Washington to kind of seal it. So that was a really big win. You could tell they were really happy about that. Conrad and Roth were the stories. They combined for 16 of the 19 points during that run. Cale Williams actually started the run with a three, and then it was all Conrad and Roth. Conrad had 22 points, and then Roth 14 points, 12 rebounds. He is just a lightning rod around the rim. He kind of said to us like he just likes to go in the paint and jump as high as he can. That was as simple as he could kind of put it. And the main thing I took away from Colin Stark after that game was he kind of said, our conditioning is starting to show. Mount Pleasant wanted to slow the game down, and we were able to kind of get out and run. Mount Pleasant won the rebounding battle in this game as expected, but Washington really turned it up during that run. I don't think Mount Pleasant had one offensive board in that run when I went and watched it back, and Washington had a few. Just we're really crashing the boards well as a team against a taller team. That's a really good sign for Washington because size is sort of their Achilles heel from that standpoint. So yeah, there you go. 2 rivalry wins for Washington over Mount Pleasant on Friday night. You can go rewatch the streams if you missed the games on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Andy, there he goes. There he goes.
With Leighton Messenger interview and all, I mute myself as a precautionary to the barking. I was gonna say, in boys basketball now, which seems to be a pretty tight race with the SEC. The Washington now 2-1, and I think that having the seniors that they do, that have been in a lot. I mean, Conrad and Roth have been in a lot of games at this point in their lives, so that should really help Washington as we get into the meat of the conference season, because the early results from SEC boys basketball, besides the Keokuk game, really besides 2 of the Keokuk games, they've all been pretty wide open. So I was at some other Southeast Conference action, and this Southeast Conference action was not as happy for Union area teams. I guess you were at a rivalry game.
We were good
2 of
either
our
way,
teams.
yeah.
So there was gonna be a Union win either way. We don't have ties in SEC basketball. We're not the no fun league. But I was at Fairfield. Now, Fairfield played who I now can probably project is the favorites in both girls and boys basketball. Keokuk, now 3-0 in both girls and boys. It was a rough one all around, especially trying to for Fairfield trying to slow down the stars for Keokuk. Keokuk has 2 of the best individual players in the league, in Kendra Boatman for the girls and Jackson Clark for the boys. Girls game in Fairfield, Kendra Boatman had 17 points in about 6.5 minutes. And other than her in the first couple of quarters, Fairfield didn't do too bad defending Keokuk, but she was hitting everything. They ended up Keokuk ends up winning 63-19. It was 25-9 at the end of the first quarter, thanks to Boatman's 17. And Fairfield's offense couldn't keep up with Keokuk. That's a bad matchup for Fairfield. Keokuk is so quick, and Boatman is a next level player for sure. Between her and Long for Washington and Stifle for Burlington, those are 3 kids that they can completely take over one of these conference games. Emma Metcalf had a nice night for Fairfield with 9 points. Nobody else is over 4. So Fairfield heads into the break girls wise in the SEC, and then the boys game got a little press. We got a little press for our coverage because Keokuk's Jackson Clark, who is quite a bit bigger than everybody on Fairfield's team. We saw this when he played Washington. Fairfield and Washington, just in particular, are not sizable teams. So having someone who is so dominant down low like Clark, it just gets blown up against teams that are smaller. He scores 50 points against Fairfield. 88-54 was the final. Now, this game, which was competitive, even it was competitive up until like maybe a minute left in the second quarter. Fairfield really did not close out the second quarter well, and Keokuk was able to go into the halftime with a 40-24 lead. Even though Clark was dominating, for the most part, it was Fairfield was able to kind of counter that with some speed the other way. And Fairfield's guards in the first half, I thought, outplayed Keokuk's guards. It's just that the Keokuk posts were so good. Now in the second half, it was just all Clark. In fact, Eli Zillman got banged up a little bit with like 5 minutes left, and I think Clark scored like probably the next 10 points in a row, because at that point there was nobody to slow him down. So I think people are a little perturbed that he stayed in to score the 50, but I think it's kind of one where the 50 is, I know it's a number that you don't hit very often. So if you're that close, I think by the time I realized how many points he had, it was like 44. And I was like, holy cow, he's got time to score 50 points. And I'm sure the Keokuk coaches were the same way. And without Zillman, they were able to just dump it right in. So SEC wise, Keokuk is now 3-0 in boys, 3-0 girls. They had close games against Burlington. In fact, Burlington was up 10 against the Keokuk boys. But right now, the Chiefs are leading the way in the SEC, Jack. Oh, Jack's muted too. I bet his dog's
I clicked unmute, and then I went too low and clicked off the tab, so I had to click two things over to unmute myself. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, the thing for Keokuk when they played Washington was like it was kind of the other guys that you really have to see them step up. Jackson Clark's going to do his thing. Like I even looked at their loss to Pella, like he had 31 and 16 in that game, and it's like. He has to. It's going to be down to how much help he got. I remember Chase Smith off the bench for them was awesome against Washington, and then his younger brother Jalen Clark. Like they're kind of the two I think sort of X factors for them. Like if they're on, they can beat pretty much anybody. But they can be caught if you have a little bit of size. To at least slow them down below the 50-point threshold. But yeah, it's going to be tough to win when any team scores 50 or any guy scores 50.
Yeah, it was like that last year where they didn't roll through the whole conference. There were definitely games and against some of our teams. In fact, Fairfield was one of the teams that beat them last year, or played them right down to the end. So Keokuk isn't always going to be so much better. Where they're winning games like by 30. But they're definitely a step above right now. So, but that's three games down in a long SEC league, and as we said, Washington's 2-1. Both Mount Pleasant and Fairfield have a win in conference play, so everyone's still quite in it. And in fact, Fort Madison and a game of teams we don't cover, Fort Madison boys almost beat. They're up double digits against Burlington. I think at Burlington too. So Fort Madison has everyone is probably going to get a win or two in the everybody has except one in the boys conference. It's just definitely Keokuk has things in their grasp right now. Now, Fairfield boys did play the next night at Hillcrest Academy in a Union area clash. And Hillcrest Academy was coming off of a big win over Waco that I covered early in the week. And Hillcrest holds off Fairfield 59-54 in this one. Close game throughout. In fact, it was a 1-point game, 1-point Hillcrest lead at halftime. For the Ravens, and this one, Rowan Miller scored 19, Gibson Scott scored 16, and Cale Bailey scored 15. Those three carry a lot of the scoring. Well, I'll tell you what, Gibson Scott played awesome at Waco the other day. Between having him and Bailey, and that is just such a huge advantage. You talk about Keokuk's advantage having big guys. Those two are so lanky and just control. Like you go into the paint to try and put up a floater, and you have to throw it up like at the free throw line because it's going to get blocked. So and Rowan Miller, who stepped up late in the Waco game, had a big one there. And then for Fairfield, Ethan Bisgard 21, Eli Zellman at 13. So a lot of the same. Eli Zellman actually at 13 and 10. So a lot of the usual suspects coming out to play in that Fairfield Hillcrest game.
Yeah, big result for Hillcrest, no doubt.
And we will learn a little bit more about Hillcrest and the rest of the small school basketball teams from Mr. Jack Knowlton, who has our small school recap. It's going to be after the break. Do not go anywhere, or you're getting cold this Christmas.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your healthcare.
Celebrate the season at the Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights. With over 180 dazzling light displays, it's the perfect holiday tradition for families, friends, and loved ones. Experience the magic from the comfort of your car, and on select nights, bring the kids to meet Santa himself. Don't miss this enchanting event that brings holiday spirit to life. For directions, dates, times, and ticket info, head to oldthreshers.com. The Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights, where holiday magic comes to life.
Welcome back. Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway, and all the advertisers. You see them on the screen. I know you see them.
They're there.
They are.
They're definitely there.
Look
closely.
Because
our super producer Peter put them there.
Yeah, he put them there. So I
Behind
know
the
you guys.
scenes.
Sometimes you want to just be locked in on the faces here of the stars of this program. But go ahead and look around. Go ahead and look around. See if there's anything you like. There should be a lot of it. Jack, you were at what has been described as a pretty wild night of Super North basketball on Thursday, I believe, and you got a lot of small school results for it. So why don't you tell us what's going on in the small school basketball slate?
Sure can. Yeah, we'll go back to a week ago, last Thursday, and I'll start with the games I was at. I was over in Packwood for Pekin-Columbus, a little all-union area clash there. And boy, everyone there, obviously depend on who you might have been rooting for, but everyone got their money's worth, no doubt about that. Two really good games between the girls. The Columbus girls team managed to come in and get a road win. They beat Pekin 41-37. Really interesting game. Pekin starts up 8-0, and then I'd have to go back I can't remember if there was a stream. There probably was. Shout out to the folks over there that do those, but I'd have to go back and see. It felt like there were a dozen turnovers before there was another point. And so Pekin, they go on this run. Columbus isn't scoring, but neither is Pekin after kind of an 8-0 start. And then it's just kind of Columbus sort of chipping away. They kind of trading buckets for the rest of the game. And then it was a late fourth quarter surge. Columbus's press absolutely gave Pekin a ton of problems. They had 30 turnovers in this game and only scored 37 points. So not the I guess metrics that you want to get a win. Neil Hart's, Pekin's coach, kind of said as much. It's simple. He feels they're in these games. They can win them. They have the talent to win them, but they have to stop turning the ball over. It's pretty much simple as that. But for Columbus, Iris Garza, 13 points. Ellie Sanders was awesome in this game. I talked with her afterwards. She hit 2 threes, had 11 points and 7 rebounds. Really good performance from her. And they just had a lot of role players step up and really took pride in the kind of defense and energy part of the game. Really, it was only 41-37. So kind of grinded the game down, really made Pekin really uncomfortable on offense after kind of an early start. For Pekin, Anna Hadley, Abby Guys they were the leading two scorers, the usual leading two scorers for Pekin with 13 and 10. But yeah, it was a really impressive display from Columbus. They were very excited to get a win. They're 3-4, kind of trying to stabilize after, they lost some of their best players after winning the North last year. They look like they're going to come out of the break and try and keep hovering around that 500 mark. And if some of these players, especially, like Iris Garza and Ellie Sanders, they're only juniors. So if they can kind of round into form, certainly they can have a good end of the season. And then even really promising stuff, you look way ahead to next year. So that was on the girls' side. And then the boys, another really interesting game. Pekin holds on to win 66-60. This was an even wilder one in terms of a Columbus comeback. Pekin was up, I believe it was 20-2 to start this game. Felt like they were absolutely rolling. They get to the second quarter, they put a bunch of their reserves in, and it just kind of collapsed from there. And then again, Columbus chipping away. They took the lead back in the fourth quarter. And Pekin was ultimately able to see the game out. But Columbus, credit to them, they live and die by the three. They were jacking them up. They were absolutely on a heater from deep, or got on a heater from deep in the latter part of this game. So they totally had a lot of really good fight. Their coach, by the way, Andy, if you get to go see them, Jacob Corkbakes, I don't know if you've ever watched him coach. Intense guy on the sidelines. He was like sitting down, getting him to do the defense chant like every possession, was just losing his mind. So, in terms of the higher energy teams, both the Columbus girls and boys teams kind of felt like they had that, Andy. But Pekin, really talented team. It was Nolan Glick, I believe, who led them in scoring, or maybe Henry Adam. I'm about to get my box score out and check if you have any thoughts on those two quickly.
Yeah, so last year Columbus was exactly that with the high. They had a different boys coach, but they were both high energy teams. They were both teams that were the best when things got a little chaotic, but the boys just weren't as kind of refined, and they would just have big lapses where they couldn't score back and forth with whoever they were going at, and the girls were awesome last year. So I knew that the boys would be, they had shown signs last year and didn't graduate a lot. So you could kind of see like, oh, maybe Columbus will be kind of sneaking up into that group of teams in the North, which just kind of seems for boys basketball to be a little bit crowded. Hillcrest is still on top, but they've had to win close, and there's been a lot of tight games in the North Division. You'll talk more about the small schools, I know, in a bit.
Yes, just numbers wise, it was Cole Milliken actually 27 points to lead Pekin in the boys game. For Columbus's side, Ellis Hills Carrier had 20. Fritz Missalon, number 35 for Columbus, he had 11 points. I think he scored all of them in the third quarter. He was incredible at the end of the game. Wow. And then Drew Totemeyer, 15 points for the Pekin Panthers. So those are their kind of three leading scorers. You mentioned, I'll go through a roundup quickly on the girls and boys side, the games from last Thursday and Friday. On the girls side, first Mid Prairie, they beat Durant on Thursday 63-25. Elsewhere in the North, was this on? Wait, why am I looking at the wrong day? Oh, I'm looking at Friday. Sorry, this was Friday. That's what threw me off. Because Pekin then went and played Hillcrest Academy on Friday. They won 52-40, so they bounced back with a little bit of a win there. Columbus actually fell in their next game to Wapello, 48-40. So, you talk about the quick turnarounds in the league. On Thursday in the North, the other games, Highland beat Waco 52-43. Minneapolis continuing to do Minneapolis things. They beat Winfield Mount Union. So those are the other results from Thursday. In the South, Friday it was Van Buren County. They fell to Minneapolis, so having to go through the Minneapolis gauntlet. New London was Minneapolis. Van Buren County actually won. They beat Danville, but New London facing the Meepo gauntlet. That is never a fun thing to have to do. Meepo is very good, as we saw firsthand against Washington. Cardinal lost on Friday to Sheraton in the South Central, and then Kyoto, who we of course saw play Linville Sully earlier last week. They got ranked, then they had to go play a ranked Montezuma team. They lost 53-25, Andy. So a little bit of a tough go of it for the old Kyoto Eagles. The Mid Prairie boys team, they also beat Durant a lot closer, 58-53, but they're able to see out a win. On the boys' side in the North, if we go back to Thursday, I actually need to get the final score of Waco Highland on the boys' side, unless you have it, Andy. Feel free to interject. But
I don't, but shout out. Oh wait, is that oh no, last week we talked about Highland getting that first win, didn't we?
yes, for boys.
Ah.
Meepo also beat Winfield Mount Union on the boys. I mentioned the Columbus Pekin score already. In the South, Van Buren County, Danville on the boys' side turned out a win for Danville. So they split 68-28. Meepo also beating New London there for the boys' side. Cardinal and Sheraton. It was a Sheraton sweep, Andy. Your Sheraton.
Right.
I'm just kidding. They beat Cardinal. And then Kyoto. Could they avenge the girls against Montezuma? Unfortunately, no. They lost 64-56. Another close game for Kyoto in back-to-back games on the boys' side.
It is this is a tough schedule this weekend for the small schools. For the small schools. So we'll see that I'm interested to see how the South Central plays out. By the way, talking about Cardinal, the Cardinal girls are low key close with the South Central is a little balanced. You know, they've kind of teams have beaten each other, and the Cardinal girls have had a couple of games where you look at the score and you know they've got some senior talent there, and you go, wait a minute, they could move up here as we get into January. So yeah, that was something I'm watching. I know he's definitely watching it. GC. I actually don't even know how the barking sounds now. I got these nifty headphones. It's probably far in the distance. But you know what's not far in the distance, Jack?
What's that?
The C block of Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, where you guys will learn about a very successful day on the mats for the Southeast Conference boys wrestling teams that we cover. So, when you come back, ears open, eyes peeled. Prep Sports Plus.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Celebrate the season at the Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights. With over 180 dazzling light displays, it's the perfect holiday tradition for families, friends, and loved ones. Experience the magic from the comfort of your car, and on select nights, bring the kids to meet Santa himself. Don't miss this enchanting event that brings holiday spirit to life. For directions, dates, times, and ticket info, head to oldthreshers.com. The Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights, where holiday magic comes to life.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
What it do, baby boo? We're back on Southeast Iowa Union.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. What it do, baby? That was Elmer Fudd. That was more. What was that?
I'm gonna go plant some trees.
What was the thing you said?
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't even know where you're sitting at. What the? Why do I do Elmer Fudd when I try and do him? I can't do Elmer Fudd on purpose. All right, if I ever have to do Elmer Fudd, I have to just think about Kawhi Leonard. Wrestling. Hey everyone.
Wrestling.
After snow ruined everything the first week, Southeast Conference Wrestling is back. I got good news if you're a fan of Washington, Mount Pleasant, or Fairfield, because all three of those schools are 1-0 in the Southeast Conference. Final scores from Thursday night. First, the one I was at, 42-41. Fairfield beats Burlington. These are two of the better. Honestly, the wrestling's been so chaotic the last few years. You never know who's going to win, but in recent years, they've been two of the better teams, Fairfield and Burlington. Fairfield won by one, but head coach Steve Miller not super happy with the way things went. I think Fairfield probably thought they were going to win by more. They had a lot of the 50-50 matches went by way of Burlington, but a couple of big pins. Noah Patel had a pin, and so did Aiden Holthus had a pin, and that was only 2 pins for Fairfield. Honestly, a lot of the Fairfield points came from forfeit victories, but either way, 42-41. Trojans over Greyhounds. Trojans 1-0. How about in Fort Madison, where the defending SEC champion Mount Pleasant Panthers 45-35 over Fort Madison. So that's a team that last year was one of their toughest opponents as far as getting to that SEC championship. If you guys remember, you wrestling fans, last year there were a lot of these duels that were very, very close to the end. For the Panthers, let's see who got pins for the Panthers. And we got a pin from Juan Lopez at 285. And we have a pin. Oh, they got all sorts of messed up here. Oh, we got Avon Beauchamp gets a pin at 106. Levi Evans with a pin. Jeffrey Avelos Ramirez with a pin. Charlie Bodenkamp with a pin. Colbin Oatsby with a pin. This is a full-on duel between these two. There were no forfeits. Look at that. In 2025, no forfeits is a rarity. So 45-35, Panthers beat the Bloodhounds, and then Keokuk, the Washington Demons, go in and beat Keokuk 47-21, the only blowout of the 3 SEC battles. Getting pins for Washington were Caden Greiner, were Jace Kinzenbaugh, were Cash Vargas. Uh-oh, it jumped on me after I said Cash. Mark Chonowith, Blaine Reese. Oh, sorry, Mark Chonowith got a technical fall, 17-1. My bad. Blaine Reese. Did you hear the dog still now locked in the basement?
You went jumped, and then as soon as you said it, jumped away from me, and he just started going right after that. So.
It's like, I jump. I'll jump right. Blaine Reese wins. Oh, I already said Blaine Reese. There's another pin. There we go. So SEC wrestling, but it's kind of one of those weird things where since we didn't have that first day, it's like we're not even into the SEC wrestling schedule when we should be like almost halfway done. So looks like it's going to be a battle when our teams go against each other. And guess
January,
what?
big month for SEC wrestling.
Oh, January. I mean, guys, January, this is what you got. This is what you got to look forward to. For all you people who are even thinking about not watching this show, the next couple of months, you got the entirety of the Southeast Conference races in all 3 major sports, along with bowling, by the way. You got the Super North, the Super South. You know that Cardinal and Kyoto are going to be making runs in the SEC and the Sickle and Mid Prairie. You know they're going to be making runs on the River Valley South. And then you got the girls' state wrestling coming up towards the end of the month, maybe the beginning of February. Boys' state wrestling, state basketball, bowling. My goodness, we're going to do fastest 3 minutes again, maybe even next episode. No, 2 episodes from now, I think, because we don't have any games next episode. It's just going to get crazy around here, Jack.
I'm excited for it. It's heating up, and yeah, with all the cancellations, like we need kind of the thick of it with wrestling, and now we'll get that in January when those things get rescheduled, and that'll give us a good lay of the land. But yeah, from those results, definitely seems like our 3 teams are going to be absolutely dialed in, competitive right at the top.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be wild, but I need everyone to just hone it in because we know it's going to be so crazy. You got to hone it in for the next couple of weeks and enjoy the holiday break. Jack, Peter, I want to know what's the best Christmas present you ever got?
Oh, ever? Oh, that's putting me on the spot.
I love throwing these questions out with no preparation or hints that I'm going to do it.
Jeez. Honestly, in terms of its longevity, when I was a kid and we got a Wii for Christmas one year, and that was like my introduction to the Wii in like 2008 or 9 or whatever. Um, that might be in terms of like in terms of staying power and all that. I'll go with that.
Classic. It's a classic, Peter.
I might have to go with the same vein here. One time I got my Nintendo DS, and that was big for me as a kid.
Yeah, iPod Touch, bonus one. I got an iPod Touch. That was great.
I'm way older than you guys because my version of that was getting a Nintendo 64 when I was younger. My mother and I played every second of the day to try and beat Mario 64, which used to be the only thing that mattered in the universe for like a whole year was Mario 64. I basically anything you get from your kids, which I'm so simple that I usually get like a football or a pop Mountain Dew.
Nice.
So my hardest kid to wake up. I've got one early bird and one kid that likes to be grumpy when you wake her up. The youngest one's the grumpy one, and she was laying like this, pretending to be all asleep. And my wife told her, because we wrapped a few presents last night, said, "Hey, if you get up early enough, you could shake a couple presents. We wrapped a couple of your presents last night." And she literally did the Undertaker. She was just like dead asleep. Jumped directly out of bed and ran up downstairs. So Christmas is here, and all you holidayers out there, thanks for sticking with us on the holiday season. And you know what? We're gonna be back next week. We are. We're not gonna leave you guys high and dry for the holidays like friggin' Kevin McAllister's parents. No. We're gonna be there for you. So see you next week.
I don't have anything Christmas around me.